Next, let's talk about pets, service animals, and emotional support animals, because this is an area where many housing providers have questions. For many property owners, pets can be a significant factor when evaluating an application. The good news is that Oregon law gives landlords a lot of flexibility when it comes to creating pet policies. For standard household pets, landlords can decide whether to allow pets at all. They can also set reasonable restrictions on the number of pets, types of pets, size limits, and even breed restrictions. The key is consistency. Whatever policy you establish must be applied equally to every applicant. As part of the screening process, many property management companies use third-party pet screening services. These services help verify information such as vaccination records, pet history, behavior concerns, and other important details that help us evaluate risk. Landlords may also require pet owners to sign a pet agreement and provide proof of liability insurance. In some cases, the landlord may even require being listed as an additional insured party on the policy. Now let's talk about fees. For standard pets, Oregon landlords can generally charge a monthly pet rent and may also require an additional pet security deposit. These additional charges help offset the increased wear and tear that pets can sometimes cause. However, it's important to understand that service animals and emotional support animals are treated very differently under fair housing laws. A service animal or emotional support animal is not considered a pet. Instead, it is considered a reasonable accommodation for a person with a disability. Because of that distinction, many of the rules that apply to pets do not apply to service animals or emotional support animals. For example, a landlord cannot deny housing simply because an applicant has a qualified service animal or emotional support animal. Landlords also cannot charge pet rent, pet deposits, pet fees, or pet screening fees for these animals. When an applicant requests an emotional support animal accommodation, a landlord may request reasonable supporting documentation from a licensed healthcare professional when the disability or need for the animal is not readily apparent. However, landlords cannot demand detailed medical records or ask invasive questions about a person's diagnosis. The focus should always be on determining whether the accommodation request meets fair housing requirements, not on treating the animal as a pet. One final reminder, local laws can sometimes add additional protections for renters. Cities such as Portland and Eugene may have local ordinances that affect screening practices. Always make sure you're familiar with both state and local requirements before implementing your screening policies. The bottom line is simple. Screen pets consistently, follow your written pet policy, and always handle service animals and emotional support animal requests in accordance with fair housing laws. This section transitions naturally into a fair housing chapter because it demonstrates how screening policies must comply with federal and state fair housing laws.